you, I knew that I had to get some attention from you, and I just can't lie. From the way that you move to the way I can make you smile, I've been checking you a while, and we're gonna have a good time. The best, 'cause I've already seen the best. Woman, you bring me peace and bless. A little love and ease my stress. 'Cause I know it's love by the touch of your fingers. Let's go somewhere we can take off our filters. Take it to my hideaway. We can smoke trees and fly away. Somewhere only you and I could play. Girl, just bring loving right away.
She get loving through the hours and straight through the man. Long me want show you how the Rasta man gone. Plow for the earth and go seed up our farm. Me just read a one song.
Girl, I have never been a man so sure, 'cause I have never felt a love so pure. Every day I love you more and more. I couldn't wait to show you what's in store. I see you chilling with your friends. Make a couple links and bring the party to my end. You already know the trend. Pop a buckle, then we take away in on the bench. No defense, girl, but me and no weak friends. Skin smooth and you way beyond decent. The pressure that I, girl, you are gonna need strength. Love is evident. Take it to my hideaway. We can smoke trees and fly away. Somewhere only you and I could play. 'Cause I just wanna feel right away. I remember the first time I saw you, I knew that I had to get some attention from you, and I just can't lie. The way that you move and the way that I make you smile, I've been looking you a while. We should go and have a good time. You're the best, 'cause I've already seen the rest. Woman, you bring me peace and bless. A little love and ease my stress. 'Cause I know it's love from the touch of your finger. Let's go somewhere we can take off our filters. Take it to my hideaway. We can smoke trees and fly away. Somewhere only you and I could play. Girl, just bring your loving right away.
The new 101.3
Row FM.
Oh yeah, Virgin Islands nice, so nice. Sure. I'm so proud to be from the VI, a place of history like the African side, yeah. St. Thomas and St. John and St. Croix, nothing can come between us but the waters that divide, yeah. Even though we're just a few square miles, I travel around the world with Virgin Island pride, yeah. A lot of people still going through strife, and still we live a joyful life. That's why the place nice, so nice, so nice. Sweet, sweet St. Thomas nice, so nice, so nice. St. Croix full of pure vibes, so nice, so nice. St. John a real paradise, so nice, so nice. Hey, we got so much to lose, yet so much to prove. Hey, Virgin Island teachers never raise no fool. Mama send me school. Hey, when it's difficult, we still a push through. No matter what, the blessings of will continue. We are a people of great value. That's why we stick together like tamarind stew. Remember Queen Mary, we make the fire burn, and Edward Blyden with the Africa vision. Remember St. John with the slave rebellion. General Butler say emancipation. That's why the place nice, so nice, so nice. Sweet, sweet St. Thomas nice, so nice, so nice. St. Cry full of pure vibes, so nice, so nice. St. John a real paradise, so nice, so nice. Hey, we got so much to prove, yet so much to lose. Hey, Virgin Island teachers never rise no fool. Mama sent me school. Yeah. St. Cry produce the band Midnight, and them the kind of roots make the fire ignite, yo. Julian Jackson was a champion in the ring, and now him 3 sons, them a do the same thing, yeah. Tim Duncan come from the VI, one of the greatest, and the world can see why, yeah. If you ever ask me where I'm from, born in the Virgin Island, and the whole place nice, so nice, so nice. Sweet, sweet St. Thomas nice, so nice. St. Cry full of pure vibes, so nice, so nice. St. John a real paradise, so nice, so nice. The Virgin Islands nice, so nice, so nice. Rock City sweet and nice, so nice, so nice. Twin City full of pure vibes, so nice, so nice. Love City a real paradise, so nice, so nice. Hey, I'm so proud to be from the VI, a place of history like the African side, yeah. St. Thomas and St.
Good morning. Happy Saturday. I am so proud to be from the VI.
Born and raised.
Why is she coming in and intro I? Emmanuella the sibs. You starting, and then when I start, she's like, Haydiah, dang. Emmanuella, start making a puppy show me, especially in front of the Neville James.
Okay, so we have good guests in the audience, so you want to
I want to act up.
Okay,
I want to act up. No, but seriously. So, if you are just tuning in, happy Saturday. Thank you for listening to Row FM WEVI 101.3. This is That's What She Said with Sommer and Emmanuella.
Good morning.
So, my BFF. So, Neville, welcome to our show.
Morning, glad to be here.
Yeah.
Listen, you hear the voice? Morning, glad to be here. That's the analyze this voice. Oh, that's the Senate. Give me the Senate Chambers voice. The different, because we are so excited to have Neville James in the studio today.
We are.
I'm so excited because one of the first places I realized I even like radio was on your show, Analyze This, when, WTJX invite me to fill a space for Neville. So this is a real honor to you. Look, imagine Neville, if you're looking at us on Facebook, the blue and blue team.
I would say you look like a power couple, but it's not right.
Oh, wow.
Ooh.
That's a lot. Okay. I would say we're a power radio couple. People enjoy us on the air.
No, babe, that's me.
Oh, sorry, Ayo. I got you left. But
let's remember the besties in the room.
Okay, besties in the room. So, Neville, one thing that happens every Saturday on this show is we have a bestie moment, because That's What She Said is really about Sommer and Emmanuella being humans in Virgin Islands and figuring out how, one, we and love all things VI, love ourselves, but also address critical issues and play. This is playtime.
And also model what we want our community to do more of, which is have conversation with each other about whether it's something hard or light in the same spirit and character.
Well, I'm just enjoying it,
So we
just along for the ride.
We just start off with a BFF moment. So my question is, Emmanuella, what is your first Neville James story?
want to believe my first Neville James story was my Baltimore. Yeah, I don't think I had gotten the opportunity to know Neville the person. I knew Senator
Bolton
James.
shout out Cast Iron
Pat.
Pat.
With so many great conversations was developed and grown.
We need to do a reunion, like a pop-up or something, Bolton.
I always keep
You think
promoting
Bolton will listen to
Cast
us?
Iron. I know Bolton will listen to us.
Okay.
Okay.
Shout out!
Everybody listens to That's What She Says.
We hope.
On 101.3 Row FM between 11 and 1 o'clock.
Because Neville gonna unlock during the week. What are doing on Saturday? I don't got nothing to do on Saturday. Come here and listen to us.
That's right.
Salmon bars, white rice, and potato salad.
Salmon balls, white rice, and potato. Okay, so you were telling us your story.
That's the story right there. He understands the assignment. We used to sit down and have good meals together. And that's why I really learned, like, Neville will keep information in his head in stats in a way that I think only my computer could have done back. I didn't realize there's human beings who pull off numbers from 1970. It'll be accurate numbers and you're able to compare them yesterday to today. But when I first met you and I went home and tell my mother I meet you, my mother said, I know that guy. I remember when he had first come back into the government as a young person.
Yeah, she was there. Yeah.
Procurement or for
education. She was a special ed, right? Yeah, now I work in the business office.
Keep all that information, even then.
Gotta go around.
Call and say, you're like, oh, invoice number 62. So I know Neville just based on good conversation in these streets, just regular everyday conversation.
And playing basketball against your father.
You used to play ball against my father.
Wang Papo, the one and only. The one I mean, Parade Grung. That's what we know that night.
Parade Grung.
DC kind of gave that ball pop, but it's Parade Grung.
Well, always Parade Grung.
Yeah, so
good
old days.
Good old days. So you used to have on the sharp pants with a high top.
All of it.
I want pictures. I want
in my mind.
Pancho. I talking about with our elders, and so Pancho had a deli, back in the late 70s. Yeah, Fish. That's Ina's hideout. That's what you're talking about. Yep. So we always look up to them. That was a good time, man. It was a good time.
My Neville James story is I live in Miami and I am working at Marriott.
Yes, Airport Marriott. Yes,
Airport Marriott, right across the parking lot.
Yes, sir.
Where me and Daddy used to live. And I checking in people at the front desk and this gentleman walks up and I start to talk and he said, "You's a Virgin Islander?" Like, just from my accent, and I was like, "Yeah, I'm from St. Croix." And
yeah, man.
It was a sea trade, right?
Yeah.
And so
no. Actually, I was coming back through Miami and overnighting in Miami. This is 2008, and I'll never forget a year.
Oh wow!
Right.
And I said, "Wait a minute, you sound like one of we."
Yeah,
and that was it. Had on her jacket and looking the part and all that stuff, you know what I mean? Yeah, man.
And it was a serious vibes. I love it. But that moment, right? He was just like, he thanked me for my professionalism. He was like so happy to see me. And then when I moved home, from that day, from that one interaction, Senator Neville James, human Neville James, never, ever, ever passed me again. And we have been able to like...
Because moms used to work in the legislature.
So we talked about that at the desk night and he come home and he tell my mother he meet me.
Yeah.
And since then, I can't... If anybody had tell me then the relationship and time I have gotten to share with Neville James would have been that, I would... Yeah, it's been amazing.
Well, this is great because we're about to dive deeper into Neville. And the community know you. Some people know you as Senator James. Some people know you as Analyze This. Some people know you from the streets of, the
basketball, parade ground.
And some people even still call you Doc James' son.
I will always be that.
I always be Doc James' son. As soon as we come back from this commercial, Neville, we're going to dive deep into you. We're talking about everything Virgin Islands.
We're good with that.
Perspective, all right?
Yeah, man. I'm enjoying this.
You are listening to That's What She Said with Sommer and Emmanuella on 101.3 WEVI. We will be back in a minute.
Starts with you.
Paid for by Friends of Gage Edmonds for Senate.
Hey, St. Croix, listen up. Your favorite spot, formerly known as Spicy Grill, is still turning up the heat as The Flaming Grill. Same flavors you love, now with more options. Located across from the Agricultural Fairgrounds on the road headed to the BMV. You can't miss it. We've got barbecue chicken, baby back ribs, pork chops, lamb chops, ribeye, and New York steak. Plus, fresh grilled salmon, mahi-mahi, and shrimp. And don't sleep on those daily specials. Kankin butter sauce, rich oxtail, Tuesday roti, and so much more. Always cooked just right. Burger lovers, you're covered. Chicken, steak, salmon, dolphin, veggie burgers with fries, wraps, wings, salads, hot sides, the whole lineup. Open Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. and Saturdays from 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. Located across from the Agricultural Fairgrounds on the road headed to the BMV. Call ahead 340-778-6270 and follow us on Facebook. Same roots, a whole new fire. Armstrong Ice Cream St. Croix, serving up sweetness family style in Frederickstead. Come cool on down with island ice cream flavors you love. Pumpkin and Baileys for Thanksgiving vibes. Sweet guava berry for Christmas time. And all year round, we're serving up lemongrass, soursop, gooseberry, guava, passion fruit, and so much more. Amazing and refreshing taste in every scoop. Hungry? You'll love the deli. Veggie beef burgers, hot off the grill. Cheesy quesadillas, done just right. Hours nice and easy. Tuesday to Saturday, 7 to 7 with the deli serving until 2:30 p.m. And Sundays serving ice cream 11 to 7 p.m. Give us a call, 340-772-1919. Armstrong Ice Cream. Cool vibes, sweet flavors, island style.
Napa Auto and Truck Part owners have been a part of the Virgin Islands community for generations. They're the pros that know how great employment in the Virgin Islands affects the quality of life for families. Napa pros treat every employee and customer like family because let's face it, they probably are family. Napa's extensive part inventory include parts for new model cars and trucks, older model cars and trucks, and every island raga in between. And let's not forget the agriculture equipment parts, custom hydraulic hoses that Napa keeps in stock so our farmers can get the field plowed and our communities fed locally. Napa pros are proud to be a part of this community. Shop locally, shop Napa. Call 772-0155 for Napa. All your auto, truck, agriculture, and marine part needs today.
Woo! It's hot in here. Is the air conditioner broken again?
I think so. This house feels like an oven. We need to call Caribbean Cooling Company.
Caribbean Cooling? Aren't they the company that's been serving the Virgin Islands since 1969?
That's the one. Whether it's residential or commercial air conditioning, their experienced team has you covered.
We probably need more than just a repair.
Well, no problem. They do custom duct fabrication and installation, preventative maintenance, thermostat replacements, and even circuit board repairs. Whatever your cooling needs, Caribbean Company can handle it.
Sounds like they're the people to call. I'm tired of sweating.
Then don't wait. Call Caribbean Cooling Company today at 340-773-2126 and get your free quote.
Since 1969, Caribbean Cooling Company has proudly kept the Virgin Islands cool with trusted professional service. From residential homes to commercial buildings, they're your complete air conditioning experts. Caribbean Cooling Company, St. Croix. Experience the luxury of beauty and joy at Violette's. Looking for the perfect fragrance, beauty essential, or stylish travel accessory? You'll find it all at Violette's. Discover an incredible selection of perfumes and cosmetics, beautiful handbags, the latest fragrances for kids, thoughtful shower gifts, trendy backpacks, including backpacks with wheels, and a wide variety of carry-on luggage and full-size suitcases for your next adventure. And here's even more to love. Now through Labor Day, enjoy 20% off all Bling products. Visit Violette's, open Monday through Saturday from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. For more information, call 786-622-1909.
From the VI Radio Weather Center, I'm meteorologist David Morin. We remain under a heat advisory until 5 p.m. this afternoon. We're going to be mostly sunny this afternoon. However, a tropical wave moving through our area is going to result in the chance of some showers and windy conditions. Temperatures are going to get up to near 90. Then tonight we're going to be partly cloudy, continuing to see the chance of showers and maybe some thunderstorms as well. We're breezy with a low near 80. We could see a few lingering morning showers on Sunday. Otherwise, we're going to be sunny and hazy as Saharan dust returns to our area. We're also still breezy. Temperatures rise to 90 to 95. We've then got more sunshine on Monday with hazy skies. Temperatures will get up to the mid-90s. Then for Tuesday, we're mostly sunny, high near 90. The forecast has been brought to you by the Women's Coalition of St. Croix, helping those in need 24/7, 365, offering support and advocacy to people impacted by violence for over 45 years. From the VI Radio Weather Center, I'm meteorologist David Morin.
The views and opinions expressed on this program are those of the speakers, commentators, and experts and or hosts. They do not necessarily reflect or represent the views held by the broadcaster. The broadcaster cannot be held accountable for all or any views expressed during this program. 101.3 Row FM, WEVI.
VI. I'm still working on my trigger finger. I'm making sure that I get it on.
I want to know how can she mix us in with a little song in the background and she the back there DJing.
I
want to see Emmanuella in the street tell her up her game.
We are back on That's What She Said with Sommer and Emmanuella, and we've got the greatest, the heaviest, pound for pound.
Not
when it
pound
comes
for
for
pound.
information around politics and our statistical information of the Virgin Islands, Mr. Neville James in the studio.
Morning.
We were talking about what we're going to into today, which is where are we as people, right? Like we're talking about commitments, and this week, the first week of school back, we have 10 fights in one day at one high school, and we had one robbery and a school bus in front of it. Wait, the kids are telling me there's a difference between robbery and what are the two forms of stealing? There's robbery is when I take it from you, and one of them is when I break in the house. Like
That's invasion.
Invasion.
One's invasion, one's
something. They were telling me there's a difference between me taking it off of you versus going into your car and taking it from you. I don't know. I haven't been in the justice system.
So one of them is like petty larceny, and then the other is
theft.
Yes. So no, robbery and theft is two different.
But they have categories underneath it, in terms of the charges that would be levied against you in the court system. But in our community,
it's like murder and aggravated murder.
But we know it all as thieving, which is something your parents teach you. Don't lie and don't thief. That's like across all three Virgin Islands. When we were growing up, nobody don't want to lie and a thief. It's like common language in our households.
But it shows us that we know, but somehow we ain't doing. So right? And so I want to know how we feel about this idea of the first week of school. Our young people is assaulting each other at this level, robbing each other at this level. Me and Sommer were talking, and I was like, a thief is a thief, right? Thieving government hours, thieving a chain, are there different levels to thieving? Like, let's get into that a little bit this morning.
Well, I've been on social media since about 2011. Twitter, I'm a Twitter guy more so than a Facebook guy. I see, people send you clips of fights. I don't really move past them because that's not what I signed up social media for, right? Someone had texted me on WhatsApp that there was a fight. Was it Complex?
Yeah.
And they texted me out on WhatsApp. Yesterday I was going to the bank. I scrolled through Facebook and I actually see some of the altercation, but I just turned it off. I don't like to see it, right? So I will park up in front of Kentucky because they're doing some construction work there. And I'll go get a Banco Popular in a Golden Rock. And I was just saying to myself, they would get 3 weeks suspension. Right now, I'm telling myself, you're being irrational now. Because typically, you got to look at all the circumstances. But for me, they get 3 weeks because this is the first week of school. Right? Number one. Number two, it looked like it was a gang beating on the bus. And the reason why they would get it too, I tell them, you come after Labor Day, you ain't had the full summer experience to miss school. And And that's one reason. Of course, obviously the fight is the second reason. But the third reason would be you hurting my rep at the school. We're supposed to be an educational facility, and now the reputation to start the school year is confrontation, assault, physical abuse, and then the thing that I want to know with them is, when we were going to school, the first week of school was arguably the most important week of the year because we fresh and we want to get back into our parents spend money. We get the nicest of garments, and to see them willing to fight in week one, I mean that's a scary proposition. That means that we got irrational children. They're not thinking.
Well, I would argue that we have irrational adults. One, we don't see it all the time, and I think just because our fighting ground is different, we feel like throwing words, we feel like we fighting in the workplace, we fight in politics. Our children are truly mirroring the culture that is emergent and maybe even established in the Virgin Islands, and like that is super scary, right? That's like a real life mirror of things that bubbling up underneath that maybe a summer, and I didn't know till this morning, right? When Emmanuella tell me, I was like, what? That happened? I was, so many people in the multiple realities that make up what is one day in the Virgin Islands. I had no clue that this was happening, and I'm just like, what is these children? Why? Why are they fighting, right? Like, and Neville, what does sending them home solve, right? If we send them home and we suspend them for 3 weeks, how does it curtail the behavior? Do they come back quiet, or do they come back and, they're 16 because they've been home and decide, hey, boom, power keg again, because all of them had time for those things to fester because their parents got to go to work. So who they home with? Like, what course corrections happens when we send them home?
Well, I've been suspended.
And what happened when you were?
And you know what? I miss school.
But I don't think these children will miss school.
Well, I think that's what we need to get into their psyche, which is you're supposed to miss that environment. You know what I'm saying? Like.
So 2 things I want y'all to know. One, no child.
I'm not saying what I'm.
10 days for the whole school year.
No, but here's what I'm saying. I want to put a disclaimer. I'm not saying my perspective is right.
No,
but you say
I'm just saying that. You can't compare growing up in the 70s and the 80s with growing up in the 2020s. I agree with that. We didn't have social media, so maybe that's the reason why I miss school so much when I was out, because when you're there home,
keep following school, right?
You know what I'm saying?
That's what the life was. That's what the culture was. That's what the people was. You home alone and everybody else in school. That was permanent.
But here's the big difference, though. It appears to me today that when we were young, right, the thinking was, are you forced rape? Are you want to be adults before your time? I'm getting the impression with the children nowadays is they don't want to be adults. They want to be children forever. That's a distinction.
So I agree with you. There are 2 things.
Repeat that for me.
No,
what he just said, I missed it.
When we were 12, 14, 15.
Right. When we were younger, we were being accused of being forced right. We're trying to grow up too fast.
Correct.
He's thinking the way that children are showing up today, you're acting very immature. You're not even trying to be forced right. As a matter of fact, you're still trying to solve your problems like a 10-year-old when you're 18. But 2 things I want to add to that. One, you're in the right space at the right time, that where you don't always have to be right, because, and that's what she said, it's never about right or wrong inside of this space. It's just always about your perspective and how you see it.
Or Sommer winning.
Or not.
Anyway.
And then, which we know that seldom happens.
Before we get to all of this, where you get the name from? I love the name.
That's what she said?
Yeah, who created that?
You know when people are walking around and be like, yeah, that's what she said. Yeah, that's what he said. The man said. This said. So me and Sommer was like, yeah, that's what she said. Like that's.
No, I love the name, man.
On womanhood, but it's also like a little bit of Sommer bad side spin.
My bad side.
Because when she wants to say at the end, it's like Anne. You know, that's how much I say Anne. This is why I say Anne. And when they say I say it, I did say it.
I did though.
So,
Anne, what you want about it? Right. You either listen or don't listen, but Anne.
That's that part. So let me go back a little bit to the children.
I could
Never,
just say
I want you to, I believe, from my perspective, children are modeling the behavior that they think is what adults do, right? If you look at all of these, and me and my daughter have it out all the time, when I look at all of these reality shows, right? A bunch of 30-year-old and 40-year-old
in a house fighting
and acting like this. There's kids. So I think children today don't really necessarily have the same idea of what it is to be an adult and be forced right as we do. They think.
I love this. Go ahead, say it.
No, go ahead.
No, because I will go and say to Neville's point. I think we have a whole bunch of adults who don't want to grow up anymore. So in our time period, right?
But put in context.
No, but okay.
Like they don't want to grow up in what context?
Like we have a whole bunch of mothers and fathers who want to be in these streets and competing with their children because I want to live my best life and I still want to be youthful. So if I cannot release the part of my life that was partying and chilling and outside, and we always had fathers who used to be outside the rum shop, as my mother would call it. My mother would be like, why did they buy the rum shop?
We used to call it the Bayside.
I used to be like, Mommy, she's like, they ain't gotta go home and raise a children or something. So I mean, we do have a culture of being together, right? But we had a culture of raising our children, and I think now our children are raising themselves with devices, with TVs, because even parents with the best intention, some of them working 2 and 3 jobs. They're saying like me saying everybody's slacking off.
Sibling.
Talk to me.
We ain't come from the latchkey generation. Me and you, born and raised in a house where we used to spend a lot of hours in our house by ourselves. We used to go home, open the door, leave in the morning. My mother done gone walk when we leaving for school, and we used to walk to school. Like, it's not just about raising yourself. It's about modeling what you've seen. So even though we're raising ourselves, we know there's certain things. We ain't seen adults arguing and lying like animals to each other, right? Oh, you're dumb. You really read through a lot of these posts and stuff. You'll be like, wow.
No, but there
is this the way we don't have a conversation?
But our political leaders, the maturity that we don't display, even within the legislative body, is a lot of times missing. So that's why it'll be like, we fighting over political tough and our children them fighting over street tough, but ain't actually really different. They're you know what I mean? Like, I agree as a mirror, and that's the part that's alarming because we quick to say them children instead of look at us.
When I been in school in 1996, there was a fight against, this one 95 I lie. This one we only had one high school. They had a fight that started from one side of Central.
And moved to
and walked through all the way to the top. Man and man get stabbed, man and man got big brick drop on them. Man, like it just was out of control. It was so out of control. Mr. Moorhead, Kenneth Moorhead.
Oh, wow.
What was his first name?
Brad name again.
Kent
Brad
Moorhead.
name.
Pour music in the courtyard to soothe the beast. Like, I swear the man pulled out all kind of speakers, and then all of a sudden there was loud music playing because there was no way to contain all these high school teenagers that running through. Difference between then and now?
Social media.
Oh. So the big fight done been happening then. Because I out of school 30 years. Is the behavior different then? Is what we as children did that much different we doing, and are they adults?
There's another variable though. Shaming the family name was a big thing.
Yes.
Way back in the day.
Yes.
That is not so much the case nowadays. I mean, I'm just being candid here, right? That doesn't justify behavior, but the reality is we were more of a close-knit society back in the day than we are now. So, things happen. I'm not saying that fights and altercations didn't happen when I was in school, but the revolution is being televised right now. That wasn't the case back in the day. You check what I'm saying? That's a public enemy. That's a Chuck D thing. Right? So, and it looks like you get, if you filmed the altercation, you get props for it.
That's the part I don't get.
You know what I'm saying? So, and people in the business are building their profile.
But adults stop passing it. You say you don't scroll by.
No, an adult said it to me.
Yeah. They'll be moving it true and I don't like watching those type of videos either. Because it'll break my heart.
It's supposed to
really break my heart.
So are we allowed to look away because it's uncomfortable for us, or
I don't know?
Are we as the community responsible for really addressing?
I don't want to see our children, children fighting and all that stuff. I want to see what you're in Quiz Bowl. You know what I'm saying?
Coming back as champion, baseball champion.
Yes, that's why they're into, you know.
The best thing, Emmanuella, when she used to walk to Boys and Girls Club, Caribbean Centers for Boys and Girls, Caribbean Centers for Boys and Girls, teach me, is that this is a two-way street. And as much as in her time with the youth, they're really, I don't know. And I'm talking from myself. Everybody's so busy. Who is spending time with our children, learning who they are, loving and appreciating them, right? And so the question of, children respect adults, the answer was, but adults don't really respect us or check for us either.
But look at what you just said, though. I think we're too sophisticated nowadays. Look what you just said. The Caribbean Center. That wasn't the case. We were Boys and Girls Club when we were growing up.
The people are fought for the name, so we had to change it.
Yeah.
People have said,
all of that. All of that. Yeah, all of that, you know, it has played a part in why things are so, you know, convoluted right now. And we were better off in a simpler society. That's just my take.
I agree. So is there a path back then, Emmanuella and Neville, to a simpler society?
You gotta look for it. You gotta work towards it. It's not gonna happen via osmosis, you know. So, hopefully, I hope it does.
Full disclosure: I'm not trying to walk my way back to no society. I done a forward movements, right? Like that's the way my brain thinks. I hear it, but I also raised in a house where they say you can't cry over spilled milk, right? The only thing you do is wipe it up on the van. For me, when I'm thinking of leadership and I'm thinking of developing, how do we Sankofa it? How do we move forward but not forget how we gain, right? And I think in a lot of ways we have done that.
Then that's a learning disability then.
So let me ask a question. How much of this do you all feel have to do with good governance, and how much of this do you feel have to do with good humaning?
Good people?
Good peopling, right? Because we're talking about what happens in your household affecting the collective, right? We raising children or us ignoring children, whatever it is, right? Ain't as simple as it used to be. It's not 1970, it's 2026, and there is a individual home issue, and then we look around at failing institutions, failing, infrastructure, corruption, all these things that bubble into the surface. Who's responsible? Are they both responsible? What are your thoughts? How do we navigate governance humaning?
Everybody plays a part in that, you know.
That's the truth of government, right?
Yeah.
Years you've been doing it.
You know, here's something that I think and I talk to my boss about this all the time, right? And I tell her, government is automated, right? So anybody who's running to lead the government should want to present themselves as the best person to manage this automated system, right? Instead of making all these promises that I'm going to fix this, I'm going to fix that, we want you to manage. You know, to me, that should be, and I'm looking back with 12 years of experience in the legislature, right? If I was as knowledgeable then as I am now, I would have been a better senator. However, that's the benefit of experience. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, once we get to a point where we're getting too sophisticated, then we're losing people, because not everybody got the same amount of capacity to understand what you're talking about. So you could actually simplify things while being sharp. What's the term they use? Adroit, deft, acute, all these big things.
SAT words, y'all.
Right. But if you break it down, and I always tell people this, you know, when they call my show, talk it in lay people language. You know, I got pretty intelligent audience on an NPR station. Why? But that I shouldn't assume that. I still want you to break it down so that they can understand. And not everybody. Just because 99 out of 100 listeners understand what you're saying, that don't mean that I should. Well, if they want to understand, that's their problem. No, I want them to understand as well. You know what I'm saying? So that's what we. To me, I just think we need to get back to more simplification, while at the same time wanting the best for our people.
You see, and in modern day fancy language, that's having an equitable approach to your audience. No,
A lot of syllables up in that.
But I tease him. But I saw, okay, so meet people where they're at, right? Share information. You bring up the radio station. How long have you been a radio host? And what have you learned? Because you say, first of all, I think when your last Senate president stint in the legislature, I want to tell you, I thought you were an excellent Senate president.
Yeah, that was a painful term from the standpoint that I genuinely thought that was my best term, and I struggled to get back in. And that's when I knew it was time to get out, right?
But that's because people don't understand the job of the Senate president, right? And so when you have to elect and run on legislation and how much bills you pass, they don't understand you managing.
Solomon Khaled, Food Tongue in Princess, told me, Neville, you'd be lucky to get back in. Running for president is like, and he broke it down like this, it's like, that's your parting gift. and that was painful because in this district and St. Croix, we tend to penalize presidents and blame them for everything. In the St. Thomas, St. John district, they don't have to worry about re-election for the most part after being the president. They look at it, well, you know what I mean? You had a leadership position. We're going to hold on to that. So that was painful. That's why I came in this studio. I was on another station with Holland Redfield. We were talking about the reapportionment, right? It was me, the late Mikey Joseph. I think his service coming up soon. John Abramson and a couple others. And I announced that day, I believe this is my last term. And I was the majority leader at the time. And I didn't really tell the public why. And it was because I didn't really believe not the appreciation level. The appreciation level was there. The understanding of what a legislator is supposed to provide was understood. And I went against that, and luckily the people sent me home. But the reality is that was a good transition window for me. Been on hosting the show since April of 2020. Got a good run going on. Get to invite you people, good people like yourself, agriculture, education, whatever it is, health department at one point, and I've never been this popular in my life. I could say this, and this is somebody who ran fuss. The very first time I run fuss in a primary subsequent to that. As I sit here now, coming on the radio, and the people get addicted to you. You know what I'm saying? Like, you get addicted to them. You know what I'm saying?
Emmanuella, so what you going to say on share our story?
No, I was here thinking about it and the duplexity or the irony of how you did so much work, right? Like the actual work that moves the system.
We reformed the GRS.
It wasn't.
And we got beat up, man.
It wasn't valued in that sense. And I think I don't see it a lot with this administration. Sometimes I just sit back and be like, damn, if you do, you don't.
No, it's rough. But we know the rules going in, you know. But I just want you to, when I talking to you, that you have an understanding of what my role is. And the frustrating part is I could sense from how you talking that you really may not know what my role is.
No, and I disagree with that part. Knowing the role is one thing. Your role, though, you got to figure out how to wrap my need into your role. That's how we don't see it, though. Like, and
I can understand that.
I'm saying in their minds, and I get this because I'm at housing now. Nobody cares about. My job is to ensure that I am following the rules of HUD and implementing and keeping this program alive for future generations, right? So for them, it's like, what are you doing right now? Well, if I do something to violate, the future might never get affordable housing options, right? Because we violated the rules. They don't care about that. They care about their immediate need.
Yeah.
And I think that's the part that's disconnected. You know, and this is what me and Sommer talk about. We know in our head that in your job, but that's not going to stop me from asking you for the tiles to build my house. Yeah. I heard your sister say that this morning, and I was like, wow, people will ask for that? Yes.
But the thing is this is why when you see a senator, which is, I go name personally annoying to me, who have to behave like a pseudo commissioner of an entity, or like did a run a nonprofit, which I'd be like, that ain't your job. But they actually have to meet in order to get reelected. They have public servants who need you, constituents who need you to meet the material need, even though your job is policy and oversight.
Well, I ain't really in the blaming business, but sometimes you got to call it like what it is. Yesteryear senators, or senators of yesteryear, gave the electorate the impression that they're supposed to pave the road after they appropriate the money for the road. And if you don't do that, then you're not doing your job. So they redefine the job. And as a result of that, instead of me focusing on legislating and appropriating and oversight, which are the three primary responsibilities, primary, secondary, and tertiary responsibilities for a senator, they got to go out there now. And, I go in the neighborhood now and wait for public works to come. And if they don't come, then we wait for the news people to come so we can make a scene. I mean, come on, that's counterproductive. But it works because it worked for them. It worked for the predecessors back in the day, and that's how that's how you judge,
And so now we add a layer, and the layer always been there, right? But now it's superimposed, right? Because back in the day, Bot and Chucky and all the different people, some of the shenanigans and antics of me against you, right? And turning off lights and so those things did happen in the legislature, right? But now again, social media, we're watching it, right? So now how much of what happens so people could keep the electorate is like pandering, right? Like I gonna save this instead of solving the problem, I'll save the text message that they get and legislative hearing to let everybody know. You could have called me 2 weeks ago when you get that text message to solve the problem. You don't wait to interrogate me in front of everybody about something where I'm like, oh, If you are tuning in, this is 101.3 WEVI. We are at the bottom of the first hour listening and learning from Neville James, and we are going to commercial.
Of 2026, it's DJ Avalanche! Also making this event one to remember will be the youngest veteran, DJ the man with the plan, Chemo Dan. And the West Side Defenders, Fire Emblem. Doors open at 10:20 p.m. $25 get you before 12. Friday, September 4th. Soca, dancehall, hip-hop, Afrobeats, rhythm can done, and much more. DJ Avalanche, DJ Chubby, Chemo Dan, Fire Emblem, at Believe in That Coconuts.
Yo, Virgin Islands.
Yes.
The flavor turn all the way up. Bigger is in the building. Ginger beer, fruit punch, grape, apple, orange, pineapple, and cream soda. Big taste, big vibe, bigger energy. Whether you're liming, chilling on the beach, or just running through town, grab a bigger and feel larger than life. Ask for bigger at your nearest convenience store. Now, here's an island by Gourmet Distributors LLC. Call 340-690-5043 or 340-204-1621. Bigger, go bigger or go home.
Woo! It's hot in here. Is the air conditioner broken again?
I think so. This house feels like an oven. We need to call Caribbean Cooling Company.
Caribbean Cooling? Aren't they the company that's been serving the Virgin Islands since 1969?
That's the one. Whether it's residential or commercial air conditioning, their experienced team has you covered.
We probably need more than just a repair.
Well, no problem. They do custom duct fabrication and installation, preventative maintenance, thermostat replacements, and even circuit board repairs. Whatever your cooling needs, Caribbean Cooling Company can handle it.
Sounds like they're the people to call. I'm tired of sweating.
Then don't wait. Call Caribbean Cooling Company today at 340-773-2126 and get your free quote.
Since 1969, Caribbean Cooling Company has proudly kept the Virgin Islands cool with trusted professional service. From residential homes to commercial buildings, they're your complete air conditioning experts. Caribbean Cooling Company, St. Croix.
Don't miss the most sophisticated fun ever. Cabins for Uber Soca 2026 are moving fast. Join the world's largest festival at sea. Setting sail from Miami October 27th to November 1st. Stopping at two amazing destinations, Great Stirrup Cay and Grand Turk, Turks and Caicos. With a dream lineup of over 80 of the hottest soca artists and DJs bringing non-stop vibe. That signature USC magic and energy. Limited cabins available. Lock yours in now at ubersocacruise.com. Flexible payment plans means there's no reason to wait. Last year's cruise was the best yet. So get your team ready and book your cabin today for Uber Soca Cruise 2026.
Hey, hon, have you checked out Precision Auto Parts? They have everything you need for your car.
Is that the new auto parts store where cars only used to be by 5 corners?
Yes, they offer the widest variety of domestic and foreign parts. From oil to batteries, filters to lawnmowers and trimmer accessories, they have it all.
Wow, that's amazing. I heard they had the lowest prices in town too.
Absolutely. Plus, their customer service is top-notch. They really know their stuff.
For all your automobile accessory needs, visit Precision Auto Parts. Don't settle for anything less than the best. Call them today at 340-773-7276.
Precision Auto Parts, your one-stop shop for quality auto parts at unbeatable prices. Precision Auto Parts, for a smoother ride.
Look! Gig upload, 1 gig download. Perfection! I'm downloading a video on how to upload videos while uploading a video on how to download them. All at the same time. Symmetrical. Beautiful. 1 gig for $50 a month. Switch to Liberty True Fiber now. have. Visit libertyvi.com/fiber.
The new 101.3 Row FM, WEVI, Frederickstead, Christiansted,
Sweet St. Thomas Night,
St. Croix.
Hey, St. Croix, listen up. Your favorite spot, formerly known as Spicy Grill, is still turning up the heat as the Flaming Grill. Same flavors you love, now with more options. Located across from the Agricultural Fairgrounds on the road headed to the BMV. You can't miss it. We've got barbecue chicken, baby back ribs, pork chops, lamb chops, ribeye, and New York steak. Plus, fresh grilled salmon, mahi-mahi, and shrimp. And don't sleep on those day specials. Chicken butter sauce, rich oxtail, Tuesday roti, and so much more. Always cooked just right. Burger lovers, you're covered. Chicken, steak, salmon, dolphin, veggie burgers with fries, wraps, wings, salads, hot sides, the whole lineup. Open Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. and Saturdays from 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. Located across from the Agricultural Fairgrounds on the road headed to the BMV. Call ahead 340-778-6270 and follow us on Facebook. Same roots, a whole new fire.
The new 101.3 Row FM. The views and opinions expressed on this program are those of the speakers, commentators, and experts and or hosts. They do not necessarily reflect or represent the views held by the broadcaster. The broadcaster cannot be held accountable for all or any views expressed during this program. 101.3 Row FM, WEVI.
And we are back. Sorry to the people on the radio if you couldn't hear the delicious conversation we was having with Neville James, but our Facebook family heard us. That's the first. With Facebook is the preferred on the radio. Taking a hard hit. We so sorry, but we are back and we rounding out our first. I want to go by so quick.
Yeah, time of like I learned that a lot on the radio station.
Summer actually said when we were starting this show, because she got a chance to be Neville James for a week, she was like, I'll tell you the best thing is that you have 2 hours because you have enough time to talk on the whole thing. Because I wanted to go
sometimes 2 hours ain't enough though. You know.
Depending on how spicy.
Emmanuella was like, I do not want to.
The sweetness of the conversation.
Yeah.
There are days when I get the text. I don't mean to cut you off. There are days when people text me and say, "You can't go till 11 today." You know what I mean? I'm like, now we got structure, which is something that we probably is one of the reasons why government struggles because we don't really stick to the structure. But
suggestions. That's what you're saying. We don't do borders.
Please just follow the rules, y'all. Please. He said it's out of
Mane Halima. Since I think Halima, the one who called you out, right?
Yes.
Mane Halima. What's up?
Big boss got eyes.
Yeah.
But you've been on the radio for how many years now?
Well, I actually started. I know that I was going to get in the political arena at some point, so I got to give Abdul Ali props, right? I got on Abdul Ali the year you graduated from high school, 96, right? He had the Weekend Review. I like the Weekend Review more than any other format because you exchange in perspectives and like a crossfire type of thing. And I love crossfire on ESPN CNN back in the day. So I did that, and then I went to work for Vargrave Richards. He was the president of the 23rd legislature. Did that for about 9 months in the education contract and said, look, we got opening in the property and procurement to be the district director. And of course, education is like a government within the government. So I jumped at that, did that for better part of 5 years, ran for office in 2004, had a great campaign, Ronald Moorhead, Tanya Singh, Mark Biggs, all of us, and the people of St. Croix, embraced me. Mario Moorhead give me my nickname, Johnny Ace, because that was a horse that my father owned back in the day. And I survived that. I did that for 8 years. I got sent on vacation by the people, which they had the right to do in 2012. Did a lot of reading then in 13 and 14. Ran back in 14. Was successful. Senate President in the 31st Legislature, 2015, 2016. Survived the 2016 election. Did my last term in 17 and 18. Of course, we got hit with the hurricanes. Back to back in September of 17, and the public they were in anti-incumbent mode, and and I had said I wasn't going to run, and they did the right thing, and I was sent home for good. People have been asking me ever since then, when you're coming in, You know, here I go, you're Ryan again. I tell them, no, I had my time. I really believe in that, you know.
Me too,
You know, some people believe that, you know, they're supposed to have a high profile position in perpetuity. Yeah. I don't believe in that. And as a sports junkie, I've seen athletes overstay themselves and look very, 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 you know, non themselves, right? And I don't want to be that, right? So now I've transitioned to the radio and the recovery. And we were talking about this during the break. That's the most important for the Virgin Islands right now. If we don't fix our problems with all this money, you know, I had on Kyle Fleming last week, Friday.
I love Kyle.
Intelligent young Virgin Islander, right? And, you know, his people from Anguilla. His father was the chief minister. Anguilla. That's, I was teasing about that. I'll come to that, right? So he said, you know, we got hit like St. John got hit with Irma, and we got $64 million. And I'm like, 64 million versus 25 billion. That's two different universes. That's like China population versus St. Lucia. That's how vast that is, how wide that is. And we still struggling, and they are not. So that means something is wrong, right? So my biggest, as I was telling Ayo, I may be open, you know, to doing something, getting back into the arena, in the workplace, in a little bit. Maybe part-time. I don't know if I'm really a full-time employee anymore. I'm just being honest. You know what I'm saying? So maybe on a part-time basis, because I believe, you know, there's certain things that I have institutional knowledge about that could be beneficial to the people of the Virgin Islands. Because I am obsessed with recovery working for us. Because it's two things. If we were fortunate enough to get this kind of money, $25 billion is a lot of money.
Again.
And we don't deal with our problems. You got your love for agriculture, all of our needs for infrastructure, our schools. I mean, we're in the year 8 and we just get our first school. You know what I'm saying? No, I ain't knocking it. I just saying that we could be better than this. That's all I'm saying, you know. And the energy crisis, which is the reason why everything struggles, right? And then what really, the thing that really bothered me was when they label us as the Minnesota of the Caribbean.
What I mean?
Well, it's
I don't know.
I said you said therein lies the problem, Emmanuella. Is that label accurate?
No.
Number one, right? And are they labeling Minnesota as such because Somalians live in people of color? We're under siege. We're under attack. So I don't like that, number one. And then number two, they had a legitimate argument with respect to how we spending them. Right, and HUD, and they got caught up, to me, in not understanding the last word in HUD. Development, you know, is housing and urban development. It's really about development, which is unlimited, right, to housing and urban issues, and they're not delivering. So, you know, that's my biggest concern. I didn't want to. I see the phone ringing.
Thank you, caller. You're on air. Hi, that's what she said. Hello.
Yeah, enough thanks and praises to the most of granting us with life, may bless us with many more.
Morning. Afternoon.
Morning. Thank you for bringing up some of the issues and start with the HUD book. I read through HUD and the qualification, and it seems like it is not giving access to generational wealth. We say only first-time home owners. So even if somebody, if your spouse owns a house, you're not qualified. Now, I don't know if I watched the hearing, but 0 people got approved for that new home development. 0. So that doesn't mean that they really didn't want the money. They just wanted to say that they got the money to send it back.
Or it means that the way they created the access to the money wasn't in a way that was equitable to everyone, right? Sometimes we don't build systems that have so many walls and structures that you don't realize. All you do is keep people out, right? Like
all you do is keep people out.
When we get the money, we're also responsible for building the structure for access to the money, and this is where the leadership will come in. And so now we create this system, and we say, you have to have been working 10 years, you need 50 children, you need a half a dog. If you're married, we count in your wife's house, even if it was something that received before the marriage. Like, there are all these things that they put in place, and now the end result is nobody qualifies.
So the reality is language is a double-edged sword within legislation and within our internal policies. And if we don't have leaders who could explore not just how language protects, but where it creates barriers to entry, right, and actually
access.
Perpetuates long-term problems, which is what I think our policymakers across the nation and even here are not excellent at. They're trying to solve immediate, and they're not saying, how does this impact us in 5 years, 10 years? Not how it'll impact me. What does it mean for my grandchildren? That's also the lens we have to start looking at.
But we need a more comprehensive understanding of the definition, right? In the $1.9 billion they're talking about is not just for housing, right? We got the community development, black rent, and when they say urban development means a lot of things could fall under that umbrella. So it ain't just about housing, and people believe that because housing is the first word that everything is about housing. It has so many other areas that we could develop under that under the $1.9 billion that's being questioned now, that I believe the administration did not really embrace. Right now, it's easy. This one thing I want to tell the caller and to all of us here: the easiest thing to do is sit down on the outside and point fingers. Right? That's why you got to step up and offer whatever you bring to the table, to allow for everyone to play a part in it. It can't just be, okay, something, I put in all my eggs in one basket in Emmanuella and Sommer, and then when they don't deliver, I'm going to call them a failure. I'm not with that.
Or say intentions were bad.
Yeah, exactly. So we need to bring more people, set it up so that people who, whatever their attributes are, they have an opportunity to be a part of the solution and not just finger pointing and then we got a problem.
Now I have to ask this question. That is the part of bill that you close water line. Now we have to see, I guess, a fee for the waste system.
That's
aware of that one, right?
No.
Aware of what? What do you ask?
What's the bill number?
He said there's a bill that they're presenting that says that if you're getting WAPA.
They already passed it.
Oh, they already passed it. Tell us what's the specifics, because I don't know this one.
And I had to call the commissioner about it. And they passed a bill that if you're within 50 feet of water to a line,
waste management.
No, that you're eligible. That's what you're saying. You're eligible for access.
No, you gotta pay a fee.
You go pay a fee.
Okay.
Yeah, I would have to look into that and get more details.
That's something we'd have to look into.
But another thing too, there is WAPA money in that HUD money too. I forget what the term is. I think it's about either 52 or 72 million. One of the numbers. That's part of urban development as well.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying?
That's infrastructure. Caller, I am happy that you called in. Thank you for listening. Thank you, of course, for sharing your thoughts with us. We're going to go to commercial soon, so I'm going to let you go unless you have something else you want to raise.
Okay.
Thank you.
Only property tax, that's the biggest one. I don't understand why we still property tax goes up rather than go down. And we ain't giving up anything for property anyway. You know what property is like you're leasing your own property.
That's a legit
reality of what I had to learn.
That's a legitimate question.
Thank you so much for calling.
We had a property tax problem in 2008. The difference with property taxes in the Virgin Islands, this is just an educational thing before I go to the break. In every jurisdiction, property tax has a specific purpose. For us, property tax, just a general fund contribution. That need to change. That need to change.
Agreed. And we need to change how we having people not pay the property tax, right? We got a lot of delinquent property tax.
Without a doubt.
And these aren't people who pass away alone. And people like to be, people who dead or children. No. There's a lot of working, able-bodied adults in our government that are not paying their property tax. And I would love for us to dive a little into that too, once we figure out what we're doing specifically with the money.
So I just need to say before we go to break that we gotta invite Neville back because our second guest there in the studio.
I enjoyed it, and congrats. And that's what she said.
You come visit us again. That's what she said.
I like it.
Thank you for paving the way, right?
You know it is.
Thank you for the confidence.
No, man. But we got in us, It's for us to put mediums in place to get it out, and then continue to want to educate the people of the Virgin Islands and the recovery, man. Gotta make that work. It's a lot of money.
All hands hands on deck, Neville.
I agree.
All hands
I
on deck.
agree.
We're pulling out the retirees if we have to, so make sure that we get it.
You sound like a basketball coach, man. You sound good.
Listen, Ayo, but I just want, if you see Neville, you have to comment on his fly braids, okay? Comment on Neville's fly.
I go to the hair. I go to the hairdresser. I go to the hairdresser. Now when I come next time, I ain't got to rock the hat. You know what I mean? I could just show you that they real and you know it
You're
is.
listening to 101.3 Row FM.
I'm talking to you. Please put down the guns. We need you.
Grandson, I need you.
Babe, I need you.
Son, I need you.
Daddy, I need you.
Every time you kill a brother in this community, we all suffer. VI men, we need you. Walk away and live to see another day. This message has been brought to you by the St. Croix Alumni Chapter of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated and Crime Stoppers USVI, 1-800-222-TIPS.
Need construction work done? Call the team that's ready to build, repair, and transform your space. SAB Construction. From strong masonry work to smooth drywall and sheetrock installation, beautiful tile sets, and clean professional paint services, SAB Construction is here to meet all your needs. Reliable service, quality results, and affordable prices, and free estimates too. Call today, 340-205-6101, or email at sabconstruction43@gmail.com. That's SAB Construction, building island greatness, one project at a time.
You cannot fly with only one wing. Get 2 wings for the price of one. Every Tuesday at Church's Texas Chicken in Sunny Isle. Get 2 legs for walking, 2 tenders for loving, or 2 wings for flying. You buy one item, you get the next item free. Bring a friend. It's 2 for Tuesdays every Tuesday. Buy one and get one free at Church's Texas Chicken in Sunny Isle. If you ain't got no friends, get 2 wings and fly go find one. Church's Texas Chicken in Sunny Isle, my son.
Need reliable trucking and trash removal? Just call Bates Trucking and Trash Removal. Whether it's residential or commercial, Bates has you covered with roll-off bin rentals, mulcher rentals, debris removal, concrete septic tanks and cisterns, dependable trash removal services, and even water delivery. Looking for the best rates and dependable service? Make the smart choice. Choose Bates. Call 340-778-1649 today. That's 340-778-1649. Bates Trucking and Trash Removal, providing reliable service Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. to 4 p.m. When the job needs to get done right, trust Bates.
The Porican them coming. The Porican them coming. Arrow Pollo. The Porican them coming.
Yes, the Puerto Ricans, them, they are coming. It's Rumble in Paradise Part 3. 3 days you won't want to miss. Friday, Test and Tune. Saturday and Sunday, Nations and Finals. $20 get you in. It's drag racing at the St. Croix Motorsports Complex. This is Rumble in Paradise Part 3. St. Croix versus Puerto Rico. 3 days of the biggest, baddest, and fastest race cars. Wait a minute. The Puerto Ricans, them say, they're coming for the fastest motorbike, them too. Huh?
You serious?
Virgin Islands. Don't you miss the biggest drag racing event of the year. Rumble in Paradise Part 3. Remember the dates, August 28th, 29th, and 30th. Yes, August 28th, 29th, and 30th. Gates open from 4 p.m. sharp.
Let's get ready to rumble!
From the VI Radio Weather Center, I'm meteorologist David Morin. We remain under a heat advisory until 5 p.m. this afternoon. We're going to be mostly sunny this afternoon. However, a tropical wave moving through our area is going to result in the chance of some showers and windy conditions. Temperatures are going to get up to near 90. Then tonight we're going to be partly cloudy, continuing to see the chance of showers and maybe some storms as well. We're breezy with a low near 80. We could see a few lingering morning showers on Sunday. Otherwise, we're going to be sunny and hazy as the hair and dust returns to our area. We're also still breezy. Temperatures rise to 90 to 95. We've then got more sunshine on Monday with hazy skies. Temperatures will get up to the mid-90s. Then for Tuesday, we're mostly sunny, high near 90. The forecast has been brought to you by the Women's Coalition of St. Croix, helping those in need 24/7, 365. offering support and advocacy to people impacted by violence for over 45 years. From the VI Radio Weather Center, I'm meteorologist David Morin.
The views and opinions expressed on this program are those of the speakers, commentators, and experts and or hosts. They do not necessarily reflect or represent the views held by the broadcaster. The broadcaster cannot be held accountable for all or any views expressed during this program. 101.3 Row FM, WEVI.
And we are back. If you're just joining on 101.3 Row FM on this lovely informational Saturday in the studio where Emmanuella is actually behaving. She ain't trying to get me rile up.
Wow.
We just had a great conversation with the incomparable, intelligent, data-driven, funny, kind, and long hair having, braids wearing Neville James, who is many things in our community. Analysis, senator, Hasman, apparently basketball player and parade ground, and that was a really lovely conversation. And now we're pivoting in hour 2. So if you're just joining us, pull up a chair, turn up your car in the radio, because we also have somebody who I think is pretty incomparable. Dr. Haydiah Sewer, Emmanuella.
Because this sister not only jumped on a plane, but she jumped on a boat to get here. And so for that, you get all the love from me this morning. Dr. Sewer, Miss Haydiah.
Candidate for Senator
Fish
Arch.
Yeah, fish and fungi. I guess I gotta say Kalaloo and fungi this morning, right? Yes.
So Haydiah is over here learning about St. Croix, but if you do not know, this hour is going to be dedicated to learning about the candidate, Haydiah Sewer, and her at-large senatorial run. So Emmanuella and I are going to just be light guides as Haydiah takes us through who she is and what she's dealing with.
Okay, let's do it.
I saying she doing most of the talking.
It's a group project. Yes.
Because I want to know if you are the candidate of my choice.
Mm-hmm.
I believe in you, sis. From what I see, but these are the moments. These are the moments where I really calculate. So it won't be light from me. Summer's over there being light.
I just saying light that we're going to talk less and listen more. That's all. Okay. That's what I mean. Look how she come for me.
She's right.
Emmanuella wants to be clear, right?
Haydiah?
Yes. Well, thank you for having me. I'll start with that. It's lovely to get to share space with you and with the people at St. Croix, and to all of the listeners. Thank you for joining us and being in conversation. That's what she said, I think, is always entertaining, because it feels like this is where you get to talk about politics and social issues with your best friends. And so I feel like I'm in the best friend circle today, and I'm excited to be here.
And so thank you. You are in the best friend circle today. My first question, just because I don't know if the listening audience even knows you, Emmanuella and we've been following you since you have been running, and we've worked together in the past. So I don't want to assume that my knowledge of Haydiah is the public and listening audience's knowledge of Haydiah. So let's jump in a quick introduction to who is Haydiah Sewer.
Yeah, I'll say I am, of course, a St. Johnian. We like to say born and raised, even though we don't have a hospital in St. John. And so we're more often than not born on St. Thomas. And I am a mother, a professor, entrepreneur, a community organizer by training. And I feel like I'm somebody who is deeply concerned with what we would call freedom and questions of the human. And so what does it mean to be free in this world after we have existed under legacies of exclusion and oppression and harassment, really? And so a lot of my quote unquote, my professional career, but also a lot of the work that I do in the Virgin Islands and in other spaces in the world is really designed around how can you actually make this life more affordable, more practical, more accessible for people who, including ourselves, who find ourselves being downtrodden and not adequately supported and represented by our government. And so I studied, I went to grad school, I taught classes on sociology and political philosophy, environmental justice, racial justice, right? And these issues really matter to me But I find that it's one thing to teach these subjects in the States, is a whole entirely different thing to feel like the work that you're doing is positively impacting the people of the Virgin Islands right here at home. And so it was really important to me to come back to the Virgin Islands as a Right to Democracy fellow, as an Environment and Democracy fellow, specifically as a researcher and at Stanford University and Brown University, and to come home and start a nonprofit. And so me and my cousin started a land rights and cultural heritage preservation nonprofit in St. John called St. John Go, the St. John Heritage Collective. And together we tackled what we really felt collectively were many of the fundamental issues that impact us as Virgin Islanders. Is housing affordable for us? Is disaster recovery benefiting the people of the Virgin Islands? How does our lack of environmental protections impact our capacity to live well, really, here at home in the Virgin Islands? Have food security. You know, a younger Haydiah wanted to be a farmer. And so actually there was a time when we had chickens, we were producing eggs, we had, you know, the yard is actually still well planted up. But I find that you have to be self-sufficient as a people in order to have freedom. There's a Caribbean writer that I love, George Lamming, and in one of his book them, he say, if I ever give you freedom, Krim, right, then all your freedom is mine, because whatever you have is what I make happen. And I think that as Virgin Islanders, that's a fundamental question for us. If we are a possession of the United States of America, and if we feel like we don't have the full agency, the full power and the control of our resources, then whatever resources and thing we have ain't gonna necessarily benefit us, the people of the Virgin Islands who laboring and working hard, right? It's going to often benefit those who either own the territory or have the most influence or have the most resources. And so I think we have to redesign power so that it's distributed and everybody have access to wielding it. And I think it's important that we do that.
I think when I'm listening to you, I'm like, okay, so the sister spent the first half of her life learning this, right? Like learning the ideologies of what political influence looks like, how it's affected us, and the historical context of it. Then you move back home and you decided, I'm going to put this to test, right? You started off with a nonprofit, and that was your first testing ground where you actually take the information that you learn and that you were teaching for so long and see how does it apply and how do the people respond to it. Now you're ready to run for at large. There's some things that historically you've learned. There's things that you've learned the ideal way of the way democracy should run. Are you prepared for the reality of the Virgin Islands democracy, and what is your understanding of what that is?
Yeah, I think you wanted to jump in, Sommer?
Nope.
Okay.
I'm listening. I tell it today I'm listening.
I would say that's a great question, right? Because I think the reality of our democracy is, of course, we are a territory of the United States of America. Some people, including myself, might say this is that we are a colony of the United States. And so much of our government is structured in ways that uphold that legacy. And so, yes, we have territorial decision-making capacity, right? But there are certain limits to our governance and our power within our territory. But I have to say, one of the biggest lessons that I learned when I came home is that I was well trained in talking about the U.S. and its role in our disenfranchisement. But Virgin Islanders reminded me that we have a lot of control within our territory that we are not managing as well as we could be, and that we have to have greater levels of accountability for, right? And so I think a part of what I learned is that theory sound good, right? But in practice, you have to be really honest about our agency, what is within our control, and what we need to do better as a collective, even as we push against other forms of power that are unjust. And so I learned that, of course, we have to push for redistricting in our territory, that our current system of political representation don't necessarily work well for all of us. Why not large position don't work? Like the people at St. John feel voiceless, but I think it also contributes to even tensions between our district. I feel like we need more unity, more solidarity as Virgin Islanders. Islanders. And I think we have to be able to look at any single person in the Virgin Islands problem as all of our problem. It's not a personal issue if a mother is having a challenge feeding her children. It's not a personal issue if a family lose their property because they can't pay their property taxes. It's not a personal issue if a long-standing business shut down or if our children gunning each other down in the street. That's not a personal issue. That's a collective problem. Until we start valuing ourselves and each other well enough to say, I gonna make your problem my problem, we will always face crises.
Good afternoon. Welcome to That's What She Said with Sommer and Emmanuella.
Yes, that's right. Again, I have to say, education system, if you teach the young people, educating them and helping them be involved with the rebuilding of the Virgin Islands, fail the young people too. We keep on failing them with the same education. So now we have to give them an education where they can be able to be productive human beings, adults, and financially stable and generational wealth. For us as people, we should want it, all of us should want it, as most of us come from where we come from and fighting and trying to do better. So we should want better for the kids as well.
I 100% agree with you, Carla. As a matter of fact, I heard somebody tell me one time that that's actually how we created our education system. We may not be living it, but it was created to ensure that we have able-bodied, productive Virgin Islanders that want to stay Virgin Islanders and lead the Virgin Islands. And somehow we created highly educated individuals that maybe don't value us as much and are ready to leave and help someplace else. So you're right, we got to look at that and see if we meet in the original context of the creation of education in the Virgin Islands.
Yeah, I tell them from since 2018. No.
Yeah.
If I tell them from 2018 and I talking to radio, I talking to politicians, I even went to the Board of Education. So if we ain't doing these stuff, then we're ignoring what is the true problem of our whole VI Black People's Nation rising.
Let's let Miss Candidate Sewer talk a little bit more about that too, okay?
Okay.
All right. Have a beautiful day.
So, yeah, let's then jump in. What are your thoughts? Well, I heard you say two things. One of the things I heard you say is that we live in a colonial context, right? Okay. The other thing I heard you say is that we do, however, in this context, whether you like the colonial context or not, have power and authority and agency that is not being leveraged. There's things we can do better in order to ensure a better quality of life within our current structure. You are running for senator at large. How do you see that position as a senator improving the implementation piece or how we show up in terms of agency as a territory? Like, what needs to shift? What needs to be different? And how does that role help or doesn't?
I'm hearing two questions, right? One about the role of the Senate and the other about education, improve education in the territory. And so I'll start with the role of the senator, right? A senator in the Virgin Islands is responsible for legislating, for having oversight, for holding the purse strings of the government, and also for advocating for the people of the Virgin Islands, right? So there are some things that will fall under the purview of a commissioner, not necessarily a senator, but it's also the senator's job to say, yes, you vote for me, and so I am advocating on your behalf across the government, right? And so there are, I think, a lot of things that the legislature can do in terms of not just visioning, but also in driving the implementation, right, of making the Virgin Islands more affordable, more transparent, less corrupt, more accountable to the people of the Virgin Islands. And so one example, we could go back and we could talk about education, right? We are looking specifically at our territory and we are realizing that if the legislature pulls strings and we see that we are spending hundreds of millions of dollars on education, or at least that's what we are appropriating in a budget, what precisely is happening? Who is reading the Inspector General reports? Who is using the oversight capacity to actually demand outcomes for the gaps between our spending and the actual education of our children. Those dollars exist to make sure that our children are properly educated, right? Correct?
Yes.
And so the legislature is responsible in part for having oversight and insisting that that's happening. Now, if we were to talk about education in the VI, there's a lot of things that I really hope for in our territory. And I have 2 small children, right? And so when I say this as a mother who believes that I am not just responsible for mothering the 2 children that God blessed me with, right? I am also responsible for collective mothering, right? For insisting that children across our territory are being treated with the same level of care and accountability that I want for my children. So the same how I expect Virgin Islanders who see my children them down the road misbehaving to call me and say, okay, yes, I see your child, this is what they were doing, and I spoke to them and I hope you speak to them as well. I think it's also my job as a parent and a legislator in this community to say, hey, our kids have these needs. This is what we're witnessing with our children. How can we design systems that actually work for them? And so, one, I want to see our outcomes improve, meaning I want our literacy rates to go up. Our math scores, our reading scores, our scores in STEM fundamentally need to improve, right? And I call myself politically mete, meaning I like to see what happening across the politically mete. I want to see what other people doing.
I want to be in the mix.
I want to see what other people doing across the wall, and I want to see what was working and what wasn't working, right? And one thing that fascinates me is there's a phenomenon that I call it the Mississippi miracle, right? That Mississippi at one point had some of the lowest test scores in the country, and back in, I believe, around 2013, 14 or so, Mississippi was like, no man, we turning this around. And so they staged a really, I think, beautiful intervention in the education outcomes of their students. They say, okay, we invest in teachers. Mind you, our teachers still fighting for back pay, right? So we're investing in teachers. We are actually putting reading coaches and tutors and professionals in the schools to ensure that we can track what's going on with the students and actually have early interventions, right? We are designing a comprehensive program to make sure that our children can actually read. And the thing about the fundamentals, reading, math, critical thinking, science, is that once you get a fundamentals right, by 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th grade, children set for life, right?
I used to say that. I used to tell my mother, I learned nothing new since 5th grade.
No, you deepen it.
All they do is just expand it. But
you deepen it, but you ain't learn nothing. Correct.
That's what I used to think too back then. Let's go back to the gap a little bit though, Haydiah, because what I see is education has a perspective of what's the best way to educate our children, and then the Senate have an expectation of how the money should be spent, right? And so I don't think that it connects. This is where I was saying earlier when we were talking to Neville, I'm not sure if you heard us, but I was saying sometimes we're listening to people who don't have the expertise. I hear your expectations of what you want to see as the final product, but we can't get there because I understand right now I am just developing the skill. Yes, you want to see proficient readers, but we were so far out from that it's going to take us a couple of years to get there. And versus the double down, then they'll start to switch. Okay, we're going to focus on the building because they said they want the children to have AC in every class and versus sticking to your plan. I saw you create this plan that would have maybe increased our test scores by now if we could have just stay focused on it and tunnel vision it.
So my question in that, right? I hear these to me, those things, the implementation takes place in the executive body, right? The plan comes from the executive branch and it's executed by the commissioner and the superintendents. Policy-wise, if I am listening, oversight-wise, am I listening? What can we expect to see from a senator at large with the last name Sua?
Weighted funding formulas and also incentives that are tied into the budget, right? Weighted funding formulas, meaning in part that schools with more needs, whether it's English learners, whether it is students who have special needs, whether it is even the geographical isolation of St. John, schools with special needs deserve additional funding for those needs specifically, right? And when we say incentives, I mean that a good portion of the budget should increasingly be unlocked as we are achieving milestones. There should be bonuses in the budget, okay, to incentivize the increase in outcomes for our students. And I also believe, I think that we shouldn't necessarily throw our hands up when things aren't working and say that's not my job. I think that when we see that, okay, we put this legislation in place and there's still a gap in implementation, I think it's okay for a senator in their role as an advocate to roll up their sleeves, meet with the relevant people and to say, okay, help me to understand what's happening. And so this is the other thing. I'm very evidence-based and evidence-driven. And so I like data and I like research. And so we also need better map and understand where are the gaps in implementation in our institutions so that we can redesign our systems when we feel like they're not working. And so I think what you'll get from a quote-unquote Senator Soar is a particular level of attention to systems design and how that will allow us to appropriate in ways to fund a system that's working.
Thank you. Good afternoon. Welcome to That's What She Said with Sommer and Emmanuella.
Yeah, blessed reason I had to call back. You implement it and you don't do it. It's needed. Everything that is needed. You don't know all the issues. If you keep on reviewing everybody else's issues, which trust me, you're supposed to still educate yourself.
Agree.
But if you don't fix your own issue, that's self-hate. And it's very much starting this. I don't know why. You're supposed to just do, just like what they said, just do it. That's what we're supposed to be living by. Make God help us and guide us each and every day with what we're doing.
I agree.
For the betterment. So we're supposed to just do these stuff. We're not supposed to just continue. That's what we're doing, continue. So we have to ask if we want it for ourselves and heal and get better so we could do better for everybody.
Agreed.
Each mother step up, each politician step up, every human being, every PI person, everybody with APL step up. That's what I mean. If we don't want it for ourselves and don't do it and just do it, we don't fail. Fathers balling, mothers balling, everybody balling. And we're feeling it. We need the help, and we need the guidance, but we need collective leaders to do it. I don't want people going to office just not. I want them to do it. That's
so.
That's what we're supposed to do. I give my money to a mechanic to fix something, and I have to keep on going back balling after it. I don't do anything.
So, Carla, and thank you for calling in, but I think fundamentally I want to address what you said, because there are things that a senator can do and there are things that our senator can advocate for, and there's things that, right,
the senator needs you to do
the needs you, whether it's community or the executive branch, to do with them and offer feedback on the policy. And I think part of our issue is we are electing people and expecting them to do what is beyond their role, and then we're disappointed when change doesn't happen. But this is truly, to your point, a collective thing where if we are a team, we need to know who's the point guard, who's the forward center. Think as a basketball team.
God is the point guard.
I will accept that. Amen.
The information what to do is correct.
I thank you.
So if each individual don't know how to move correctly, speak correctly, carry on the actions correctly, that's why we're falling. We need to rise. But these is just we putting the blame on somebody else and somebody else and somebody else. We can't do that. If we keep on doing that, because we do that very often, and ain't a blame issue. What it is a reality issue.
It's a issue too, right? And the same way you said, because I agree with you that we don't put a blame, but we also put all the work on one person. right? Like the walk path of the doing that you're talking about
Is
requires
us.
more than just the two hands of the senator or the collective hand of the leadership. It requires the community to get in gear. And you said, we just got to be able to do the right thing. Well, what's right for, right for me? And so we got to start from a place of understanding
What's right for us.
What's right for us.
What's right for you, what's right for me, what's right for everybody. It's right in God's eyes because we're doing it the right way all across the board.
So
I support.
If they have the funding and a bunch of funding come, that's who's supposed to have it.
So
That's the question. Carla, we're going to let candidate Sewer talk about that. Who's supposed to have it? When the money come in, what is candidate Sewer believing is the priority of what we're supposed to do? So listen in, and then we're going to go from there, okay? Call back if you want.
Okay.
All right.
I don't mind. I don't mind. That's what she said is a name for a reason.
Okay.
Sorry.
Haydiah.
Like I don't mind at all.
Back to you with the question. Who gets it, right? Like, so when we're making decisions, sometimes, like I said, we were talking about education. We need to build the buildings. We got to make sure the structure right. We got to make sure the state right. We got to make sure we have big boards in front. But yet we're getting low test scores. And then somebody else will say, well, let's put all this money and resource into ensuring that the people who doing the work feels comfortable within their profession, right? So let's just give this money there. Or some people will say, give the money to the children. No matter what, make sure the money get to the children. Tell me who gets the money. With Haydiah in the seat, in the well, the budget is passing. Haydiah, who do you value sharing money to when it comes? And I be 100% completely clear. There's no wrong or right answers here, okay? This is just we need to know what the candidate thinks.
I think our systems and our experiences are interconnected, right? And so we have to address fundamentally education, affordable housing, energy stability. We need our lights, our electricity to be accessible to us. We need affordable and accessible and quality healthcare in Virgin Islands, and we need food security for us as a people, right? And I fundamentally believe that, you know, we talk a lot about fixing economy, and I think that economy gets fixed when you prioritize the fundamentals and when you invest in the people and when you invest in the place properly, right? And so to me, we have to be able to eat as a people. We have to have shelter. We have to have somewhere to live, right? These are the initial, I would argue, the building block foundations of what has to be addressed in order for us to move forward and to build. And so in order for any of this to work, we need accountability and we need transparency. I find that if our government has corruption in ways that siphon off the resources that are meant to better the people in the territory. It don't matter how much dollars flow through the Virgin Islands, right? And so we actually also have to build out a system that enforces its stability and its transparency. So I would say that those are the core money pots. How do we create a system that's more accountable so we don't have to rely on the federal government to intervene or to stop money flowing to the territory? And how do we actually make sure that our children, our elders, our medically vulnerable people, our homeless people, our people who have difficulty affording food have what we need in order to survive? I think that is where we start and where we begin. And I find that from there we can address economic revenue growth.
Okay.
I want to push in with 2 hard pivots, or maybe 3. 1, small business, right? Gross receipt tax. We have a lot of private entrepreneurs out there who also have to vote for senator at large. What do you propose? Because we see businesses starting and shutting down, businesses who have been here for a really long time, not surviving. But like, what is your position on what in the legislature could be done to improve small business and entrepreneurship opportunities for Virgin Islanders and for new businesses that are burgeoning, if anything?
I love that. And I'll say that I, of course, a small business owner, entrepreneur, as a professor, right, who was also raised by small business owners in the Virgin Islands as well. And so I don't know about, other kids who have entrepreneurial parents, but I used to walk in a family business before school, after school, on weekends, and over the summers, right? And I find that one of my frustrations with the government of the Virgin Islands is I find that so many of our policies are often antagonistic to our small business owners while being deferential to the much larger money interests that are operating in our territory, right? So we have this EC program, and we simultaneously are not looking at the small businesses that are also employing Virgin Islanders, providing critical infrastructure, and actually doing a great deal of charity and philanthropy, not because they're getting a tax write-off, right? But because this is their community, and we love our community, and we want to invest in our community. So I would argue we need to restructure the way that we approach taxes in the territory, right? Our gross receipts do not have to be as aggressive as they are while we are providing the tax breaks to the EDC corporations at the level that we currently are. And I understand that this needs detailed economic examination and review to understand how exactly we could restructure these programs without virtually gutting our revenue source. But I find that that is really important. And throughout the election cycle, we've had a lot of conversations about, okay, how are we going to grow the revenue of the territory? And we looking to our politicians to drive the innovation in our private sector. And I find that a little bit frustrating, in part because I think entrepreneurs are already driving innovations in our revenue streams within the territory. And the role of the government is to, one, ensure that they have the conditions where they can thrive as entrepreneurs, right? And two, to put guardrails on businesses so that they are not exploiting the people of a community, right? And so we have to actually do that in our territory. We have to empower our entrepreneurs. We have to make sure the tax system actually working for them. We have to make sure they're not being exploitative, but we can't keep standing in their way. And at the end of the day, right, you can't tell me that WAPA ain't breaking the backs of so many of our small businesses. You can't tell me that our escalating real estate prices are not also a roadblock to businesses. You can't say that the discrepancies and the challenges and inefficiencies that we have in our permitting systems isn't also a roadblock to entrepreneurs, and the corruption, right? For people who don't necessarily want to slip nobody a little money under the table in order to have things done. And so ultimately, when we address these fundamental issues, we still create a climate that works better for our business owners and allows more companies to thrive in a way that increases revenue, attracts people back to the Virgin Islands, right? And makes this a space where we can all live well.
As soon as we get back, because we're going to commercial break in 32 seconds, I want us to dive a little bit more into the economics, because we did do a study. We came up with a whole 2040 plan. And I'm interested to wonder, is this something that, Senator Sewer would bring to the front in the discussions? You're listening to That's What She Said with Sommer and Emmanuella. We will be right back. Call us back after the commercial break.
Good day, fellow Virgin Islanders. I'm Gage Edmonds, your independent candidate for the Senate, seeking the opportunity to serve you in the 37th Legislature of the Virgin Islands. I was born and raised right here on the island of St. Croix in Calcahoon, and I'm a proud product of our Virgin Islands public school system. St. Croix is my home. It's where I grew up, where I learned the value of hard work, and where I developed a passion for helping our community move forward. I'm running for Senate because I want to do my part to make St. Croix and the entire Virgin Islands a better place to live, work, raise our families, and build a future. I believe our leadership should be shaped by real-life experiences, not just talking points. We need leaders who understand the everyday challenges our people face and are ready to work toward real solutions. Islands. This November, in the general election, I'm asking for your vote and your support. Learn more about me, my vision, and my platform by visiting edmundsforsenate.com.
Paid for by Friends of Gage Edmonds for Senate.
Salve, amici. Are you craving a taste of Italy on our enchanting little island? Head to Alfio's Pizza for an authentic Italian feast that will transport you straight to the heart of Sicily. Craft your own pizza masterpiece with the freshest ingredients. Vegetarian options are available. And for an experience that rivals Nonna's Kitchen, savor the island's best lasagna. Save room for our divine homemade desserts, cannoli, the Queen Elizabeth, and more. Whether you dine in and embrace our cozy atmosphere or opt for a quick takeout, Alfio's Pizza is your passport to Italian indulgence. We're open Wednesday through Saturday, 5 p.m. to 9 p.m. Call 340-719-8800 to order or reserve a table. Mangia bene, vivi felice, buon appetito.
In a world where the big K is gone, one name stands alone with 3 locations ready to fill the void. Super Dollar.
This is how it should be done.
Super Dollar is St. Croix's #1 department store with aisles fully stocked with everything you need. Home appliances, car accessories, clothing, toys, electronics, and much, much more. Just visit one of our 3 locations in Princess, Sunny Island, Frederickstead, and see why Virgin Islanders shop at Super Dollar. Department store quality, dollar store prices. Welcome to the new and improved My Lord Variety Store and Smoke Shop, conveniently located in the Barron Spot Village Mall, Bay 14, St. Croix, USVI. You could see it from the road. Discover a world of delight from our soothing soaps, enchanting essential oils, and holistic scented body oil. We have a wide variety of therapeutic incenses, traditional burning sages, scented candles. We provide everything that makes your senses come alive.
Smoke fill up the skies from yours truly.
We offer the most extensive range of rolling papers in the Caribbean. Pre-rolled cone, filter tip, rolling tray, exotic bong, custom-made pipes, grinder, CBD hemp products, ice cold drinks, liquor, and much more. And don't forget the blend. Be sure to come in and scratch for your chance to win on any of our many Caribbean lottery games. Play Pick 3, Pick 4, Powerball, Mega Million, and Super Lotto. My Lord Variety Store and Smoke Shop. Open Monday to Saturday, 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. Sundays, 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. Be sure to follow us on social media at My Lord Variety Store. Your satisfaction is our priority.
Wow, Jamie, this cleanup is going to take forever. Look at this debris.
Yeah, tell me about it. But I just called Julian Strucken. They're a lifesaver for before and after storm cleanup.
Oh yeah? What's so special about them?
They deliver 10, 20, 30, and 40-yard bins right to your driveway. And they pick them up when you're done. No fuss, no mess.
That sounds perfect. So I don't have to worry about hauling all this debris myself?
Exactly. They've got the trucks and the bins to handle even the biggest mess. Plus, their drivers are super friendly.
Nice. How do I get in touch?
Just call Julian Strucken at 340-277-8510 or 340-277-9093. They're quick, reliable, and affordable, especially when you need to clean before or after a storm.
I might need to do that. Thanks for the tip, Jamie.
No problem. Let's get this debris out of here and back to normal. Julian Strucken, your before and after storm cleanup partner. Fast, reliable, and ready when you need it most.
What you saying? I saved me, boy. You ain't hear about that shooting the other day with partner that been in our class?
Yeah, I can't believe it. I just see this man the other day.
Man, we really have to leave the guns them alone, man. Ain't worth it at all.
You're right, dog. We have families, children. Are we really just suffering for no reason? You know our class may leave a youth behind?
Yeah. I don't talk to my younger brother them and tell them to stay out of trouble and just talk to somebody if they need help.
Yeah, I gonna do the same thing too.
Be easy, my boy. Yes, sir.
Hey kings, fellas, my VI men, We need you to stop the bleeding. We need you to be an example and lead our community into the future. We don't want to bury another brother.
This message has been brought to you by the St. Croix Alumni Chapter of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated and Crime Stoppers USVI 1-800-222-TIPS.
Welcome to the newly renovated Vegetarian Creation Restaurant. They're located in the courtyard at the Barron Spot Village Mall in St. Croix. Go and check out their spread of tasty, mouth-watering vegan dishes like red beans and coconut rice, vegetable stir-fried quinoa with mushroom, collard greens and asparagus, vegan protein, tofu bean meat, just to name a few. They have lasagna and kalaloo too. Veggie burgers, Rasta chicken sandwiches made on our in-house bun, pastries, cake, cookies, and more. Snack on our seasoned and spicy popcorn. Vegetarian Creation have local drinks, passion fruit, cruise punch, golden apple, and more. Ask about their special power drinks. Let Veggie Creation tantalize your taste buds with smoothies from our liquid lab juice bar, all infused with our special ingredients. Love. They are the original home of the famous fried cauliflower Rasta chicken. Vegetarian Creation cater for your special needs. Come, let us tantalize your taste buds. Open Monday through Saturdays from 11:30 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. Give them a call today and make your order. 340-773-4772.
The new 101.3 Row FM. Hip hop. The most hip hop. WEVI. Frederick said. Christian said. St. Croix. #1 station in the world. I knew it. A Lima Rose station.
This August, there's a reason to visit Caravel Casino every day of the week. Sundays, start your day with our $2,500 early bird drawings from noon until 4 p.m. We're giving away $500 every hour, plus free slot play for Rewards Club members. Mondays, if you're 50 or better, enjoy $10 in free slot play. Tuesdays and Saturdays, Reward Club members receive tier-based free slot play bonuses, while Wednesdays and Thursdays keep the excitement going with even more free slot play offers. Then, every Friday night, it's our $2,500 progressive drawings. Join us from 7 p.m. to 11 p.m. for 4 chances to win $500 cash with unclaimed prizes rolling into the final drawing of the night. Plus, new members receive $25 in free slot play, and Rewards Club members can celebrate their birthday with special birthday free play. Visit Caravel Casino this August, where every day brings another chance to win.
Whenever you feel like giving up, 101.3 Row FM keeps you going. The views and opinions expressed on this program are those of the speakers, commentators, and experts and or hosts. They do not necessarily reflect or represent the views held by the broadcaster. The broadcaster cannot be held accountable for all or any views expressed during this program. 101.3 Row FM, WEVI.
And we are back. If you're tuning in, it's the bottom of the second hour, and Emmanuella is being an amazing engineer.
That's my next job.
Yep.
I guess that's what she says she's gonna be doing, explaining radio stuff to me about two ways, whatevers. So she's doing amazing. And we have Dr. Haydiah Sewer in the studio with us, who is running for senator at large. And I want to ask a really plain question. Why senator at large and not running the St. Thomas district?
I would say, one, I live St. John. And I think it's really important, born and raised, so to speak, you know. But I think it's really important for the senator at large to be on St. John and to be attentive to St. John issues, because I believe that St. John is a minus canary for the entire Virgin Islands. Because we are so small, we have the highest taxation, our inflation is higher than across the territory. We have immediate access to a lot of government services, and we often feel quite voiceless and disenfranchised in our government because we don't have adequate political representation. I find that we are often uniquely positioned, right, to see the ways in which our government could better serve the people of the territory. And so I find that a senator at large that's rooted on St. John, but that does the work to be in St. Thomas, to be in St. Croix, and to understand deeply the Virgin Islands as a whole is actually a very powerful seat if leveraged correctly, so to speak.
I could ask you a question for those who know. What is a miner's canary? Because you said it. I know what it is, right? Because I have a friend who talks about it, and she wanted to name her business after it, right? But what is a miner's canary for people who hear you reference that but might not know?
When people were working in the mines, they would take these little canaries with them in the mines, right? In part because there were toxic fumes and gases that would be in the mine they were working. And so if the canary in the mine dropped down dead or drops down in distress, the miners knew that it was a very toxic environment and they needed to get out. And so in some ways, a miner's canary is the smaller being who is more sensitive and vulnerable to harm in an environment, who is alerting maybe the bigger, quote unquote, more powerful beings that something is wrong here and eventually you too will be harmed. And so when we look at the small islands or the disenfranchised islands or the most even vulnerable people in our community, right? People who have disabilities or people who experience a particular level of homelessness or addiction or poverty, anybody who is really vulnerable, when you see them in distress, that is your warning that there is something in the environment that's wrong that needs to be fixed or it's going to impact everyone. And so
I'm sorry, Emmanuella, that's our beginning conversation this morning. The 10 fights in the school is the miner's canary.
Right.
It is our children who are vulnerable that are signaling to the larger population
something's
that
wrong.
Something is wrong when a first day of school, and it's been wrong for a while. You could talk about, yes, this has happened when we were younger too, right? But those were signs. Increasing violence amongst the youngest and most vulnerable is a miner's canary to the rest of the Virgin Islands that there's something we need to be attending to. Thank you for making that connection.
Now
for
you're
us.
saying that? That's the same thing with the population leaving,
Mhm.
right? That's a sign.
Mhm.
Something ain't right. People ain't staying.
Right.
Something ain't right. The high level of corruption that was
Right.
starting to unfold. That's a sign.
Mhm.
Something in the system is not right. That's allowing this to happen.
Mhm.
So I love that you identified that, and the fact that St. John in our governmental framework is the canary. In your analogy, makes sense. Because over there is where we're first starting to see the high taxation, no land being expanded. Displacement.
Mhm.
Those things we were hearing about it from long.
Right.
And we were talking about earlier, Haydiah, that a lot of us feel St. Thomas and St. John is one. Right? Like that's a district, yes. So wherever St. Thomas gain, St. John gain is the assumption. But the reality is
that's not true. I think the reality is that St. John is a population that has a little over 1,000 registered voters, but when it comes to election time, we really only have hundreds of people voted, right? And so we get treated as such. And so if politicians feel like they don't have to come St. John and they don't have to be attentive or accountable to St. John, then in order to get elected, right? Then they say that. And they often behave that way. But I want to go back to the miner's canary really quickly, in part because I think the one thing we overlook is the reason we don't pay attention to most vulnerable people in a society is because often when it's not us, right? We point our fingers and we say it's your fault. It's your fault that you are fighting in the schools. It's your fault you're experiencing addiction. With St. John, it's your fault. Ain't nobody tell you to sell your land, right? Is what we as St. Johnians heard frequently. And I think that a part of the culture shift and the mindset shift that we all need to make as people in the territory, right, is when you see people experiencing or even perpetuating harm or disenfranchisement, you can't just point the fingers at them to say, no, you're wrong. We have to get curious with each other and actually look at even our systems as they are designed to say why are people experiencing this level of harm and what needs to be fixed in order to prevent it. So we have to stop saying, no, you deserve that. because of what I think you did wrong, and kind of come up off our pedestal a little bit to say, actually, I think I'm responsible for us collectively fixing this.
I'm going to ask you a really hard question, I think. Is at least hard for me. What do you say to listeners? I've heard people tell you this directly, who think that you're too smart for the job or how you speak is above the average Virgin Islander because you are a doctor by trade, and that you will be alienated by the everyday Virgin Islander because you're philosophical and you want to tell a story and you'd take a long way to explain something. If there's voters out here who listening and they're hearing you reference minors, canaries, and things, what do you? No, it's serious, because that's a challenge you're running for at large. So what do you feel about people who might other you because?
Not other you.
Like that's what
that's what it's called. I know, but I love it. Other you.
Right, because it's like, oh, she's not one of us because, right? Has that happened to you in life? How does that affect run, and what would you say to other people who are listening about who you are?
It'll bust my chest every time. It'll bust my chest, right?
Given that can so bust chest.
Because I feel like we are one people. I'm somebody who, my roots is all across the Virgin Islands, U.S. and British Virgin Islands, right? I got a great-great-grandmother from Frederickstead who was a Joseph. I have roots in Tatola. And so when I am in the Virgin Islands, I feel like I'm home. When I'm in the States walking, or when I got my education, I wanted to be home. Right. The thing that my dissertation committee advisor would always say, people would be like, oh, where's Haydiah? And he would be like, Haydiah is in the Virgin Islands where her research exists and where she thinks her work will have the most impact, right? And so as somebody who is dedicated to the well-being of the Virgin Islands, I think it's important that we are able to look at each other across education level, across economic differences, and even across like cultural differences, because we have some uniqueness in across our territory, and ethnic differences, and to be able to say, hey, we are still one. But as it pertains to the legislature specifically, I think we want people who we think are competent, who we think are rigorous, who we believe have trained in order to do this position well. I think we're deserving of that. I believe we shouldn't normalize mediocrity or in any capacity. And so when we see somebody who's saying, hey, I have, I believe, the skill set to do this work well, we shouldn't punish them for having the very skill set that we think they have, right?
Exactly. We raised you to have this. We made sure we invested in you as a young Virgin Islander. We watched you do it, and now you're here, you're ready, you're prepared. Now we're gonna say it's too much.
So, but
that's
this
not
morning,
fair, and that's not cool. Yeah.
This morning, Emmanuella and I, before we got here, we were talking about, hey, what we're gonna talk about today, and it was Emmanuella's like, I really want us to go back to cognitive dissonance, and I really want us to talk about our collective mindset. And so when I hear people directly tell you, you know, and Neville James said something important today. He said, let's take it down to lay terms and meet people where they're at, because if I have 100 listeners and 99 understand what I'm saying, I still want that one person to feel included. I think, right, so exactly, you can't assume, and I think that's an important concept in leadership, and also
participation. We gotta be willing to up our side too, though.
But that's why. But ask the questions, right? If you're speaking to someone and they say, and that's what she said is about, and they say something that you're not familiar with, get curious and ask the question. And more than that, the person will tell you the thing, and you will have been stretched. And I really, because we can't be asking for different level leaders, but then the leader stepping up because they don't behave the way the past leader you had that you're not happy with behaving,
or because you're uncomfortable with stretching your own self, right? Like there's a responsibility individually to all of us to want to be a part of a system, and as if our Virgin Islands system, and as if the Virgin Islands intellect is growing, keep up. If we are stretching ourselves, keep up. This is us.
And I want to say, what I'm hearing Sommer say too is that accessibility is important, right? That it's important for our leaders to meet our community where we all are, right? And so I, as somebody seeking to be in the Senate shouldn't just use terms that people may not necessarily easily understand. I should do the work of saying, hey, let me translate this from my academic professor voice into a form that everybody could be able to readily understand so that we could be in a healthy dialogue with one another. And I think what would break my heart is the assumption that I am unwilling to be in the trenches with us together, figuring it out. And
we're down to 5 big. So you've got to wrap this up and tell the people of the Virgin Islands. One, we know you are ready to have conversation with us and you are willing to make that pivot to whatever it is whom you're conversing with, to make sure you can engage with them where each other's understanding is being met. Tell us more. Tell us what to remember about Haydiah and what before November 4th, why voting for you is the best way for the at-large position.
I really hope to have your vote on November 3rd. And I'll say, because I'm somebody who believes that the Virgin Islands is a space where Virgin Islanders should be able to live well and to thrive, that this is a space where our quality of life should be high, and we should also have affordable living, our housing, our health care, our education. It should all be excellent and affordable, accessible to us. And so that is something that I will fight for and push for. But I'll also say 2 things about me is I'm incredibly hardworking. Perhaps it's a habit that I've inherited from my parents and my grandparents and everybody before them. But also I believe I am very much committed to ethics and integrity, right? And so I'm someone who believes in accountability, and I find that I'm always willing to listen and to be in community and to figure out our challenges together as a collective. And I believe in our self-sufficiency and our capacity to create a Virgin Islands where everyone here can eat well and thrive.
Yo, that's another Saturday, and that's what she said. Jeanette's going to tell us to stay engaged. Were you supposed to say, Emmanuella?
Stay connected.
And what's the next one, Jeanette?
Stay engaged, stay connected, stay something. Stay with us.
Stay with you. See me just my teeth. She's totally not being helpful right now. Stay engaged, stay connected, and tune in. 101.3 Raw FM WEVI.
Dr. Seward, thank you for joining us, and that's what she said.
Thanks for having me.
A couple more times before Election Day. We're always ready and engaged to talk with you. It's a pleasure, sis.
Likewise.
Mates too. Call today 340-205-6101 or email at sabconstruction43@gmail.com. That's SAB Construction, building island greatness, one project at a time.
Don't miss the most sophisticated fun ever. Cabins for Uber Soca 2026 are moving fast. Join the world's largest festival at sea.